the Sutra of Perfect Enlightenment was written in China, probably in the 8th century, so at exactly the same time that Baso's Zen school is forming. The sutra is very popular in China, very popular subsequently in Korean Buddhism, but not widely known in Japan, although I think it's fairly clear that Dogen was very familiar with it, not least because the initial and dominant metaphor in the sutra, sky flowers, or the flowers of emptiness, is one of the chapters of the Shobogenzo, and that chapter substantially repeats what's said in the sutra. One of the reasons why the sutra was so popular is because it gives lots of practical instructions about meditation. It essentially says that in meditation there's three ways to practice, which it terms Samatha, Samapatti and Dhyana. And from those three approaches, it generates 25 separate practices. So what are those three? Samatha, we're familiar with. It's in a long lineage of the necessity to undisperse and calm and gather the mind. It's strongly associated with the idea that meditation cultivates tranquility and quietude and serenity. And the metaphor which the sutra uses for this aspect of meditation is the mirror, which is obviously a very popular metaphor in Chinese Buddhism and subsequently. So just like a mirror, a bright mirror, will reflect everything truly, but without being caught up in it, then likewise the meditator. The second kind of meditation, Samapatti, is described quite tersely as using illusion to overcome illusion. And that can be unpacked by reading the early part of the sutra, where the metaphor of sky flowers is explored. And so sky flowers, as it were, are our ideas of self, separation from the world, permanence, and so on. The mind of the practitioner, which sees no self, impermanence, non-duality, and such like, is also a sky flower. and that's what the sutra means by using one illusion to overcome another. So it uses lots of metaphors, but one of the metaphors is two sticks being rubbed together to create a fire which consumes both of them. Or another brilliant metaphor is like a person cutting off his own head. So prior to the person cutting off his own head, there's a person intending to do something, but after he succeeded in that, there isn't. So that's the second one, and that perspective, so that way of us in the course of meditation examining or being aware of our selfing, our tendency to separate, our construction of our normal created world. The metaphor that's used for this sort of meditation is that of a green shoot, just lively bursting up through the earth. So the first metaphor, this Samatha, is a metaphor of peacefulness and tranquility, and the second is very different. The second is just a kind of vigorous engagement, and the third, Dhyana, is where body, mind, and world, that is the separation between those three, drop off or are forgotten about, and we're just sitting in this one piece Zen, as Ishu Fujita would say. And the metaphor that's used for that is the ringing bell. So a bell which can ring because it's hollow at the center, so there's no self. The ring of that bell, even although it's located initially with the practitioner, rings out everywhere. We can look at these three meditations as three different practices, but we can also look on them as being three, and not the only three, but three aspects of our actual practice. So so sometimes we are, as it were, experiencing this one piece Zen. At other times we're aware of the necessity of undispersing our mind. At other times we're very aware of our habits of fabrication and construction. So all of this can be explained in a way which is inclusive. The sutra is really worth reading. It's relatively short. It's full of really interesting metaphors which I think are very helpful in clarifying otherwise obscure Chinese terms.